morning. Welcome to The Breeze with Samuel Jacob Kirschner. I have a question to start today's meditation on, which is, can you explain to us what breath intelligence means?
Normally, I would want to answer such a question from my head and as soon as it has been asked, because we can't waste time. You know, time is money. And also, if you answer quickly, that means that you are brighter, certainly more intelligent. So, what you heard me doing was that I exhaled, as in, and as I exhaled, I was aware that I am exhaling stress, accumulated stress in my lungs from the last breath. Usually when people say, take a deep breath, they really mean inhale deeply. But over the years, I've learned from experience that to the extent that you exhale, you can inhale. See, if you are full of stress and you're trying to inhale deeply, it's like I don't know, I can't think of any graphic metaphor, but it's like trying to beat a dead horse. So, as you can see, I'm going to answer your question, what is breath intelligence? Mainly by demonstration. And perhaps tell some stories, authentic stories from today, to really describe my experience with breath intelligence rather than be the know-it-all scientist, which I'm not, and tell you the dictionary meaning of breath intelligence. Actually, I don't think there is such a word in the dictionary yet. So, this morning, when I woke up, I noticed that there was a message in my Skype app, and the message was from Sheila in Juba, South Sudan, who is a good friend and a therapist at a hospital there, a psychiatric hospital, where I visited last year with my colleague, Dr. Richard Brown, and we worked there with refugees and with people with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I got to see there something that was not particularly new to me, but everybody who is living now in South Sudan has PTSD, has post-traumatic stress. I don't know about the disorder. I am not a psychiatrist, so I'm not going to tamper with diagnosis, but post-traumatic stress, I totally understand the concept from experience. To just say I have stress is like, it's so generic, you know, everybody's got stress. But to call the stress post-traumatic stress, gives it a little bit more context and gives it a little bit more continuity. You see, I feel that the people who live in a place like South Sudan right now, which last year the State Department website described as one of the most unsafe, dangerous places on the planet. I think they used the word Earth, not planet, or world. I'm very familiar with it because I was born into trauma and stress. And so I've learned that the stress that I feel nowadays doesn't live in a vacuum. It's not just because it's 2016 and it's the 21st century and stress is coming at us from everywhere. But it's in me. There is a big receptor in me that, oh, stress, hello, come on in. I'll give you some room, I'll even feed you. You know, I got a bed for you. You can move in. I like the metaphor that just came out of my mouth. It's funny, but often it's like that. You know, stress likes a host. And I really think that today, everybody who is alive has trauma. And that we are all hosts of stress. And to the extent that we are aware of it, we can perhaps do something about it, as in maybe not to continue to host it. Wow, that's a revolutionary concept. That I have something to do, maybe with my stress. And the main thing I have to do with it is I can't eradicate it. I don't believe in fighting stress. But perhaps I can do something inside myself, that would make my inner environment not inviting, not friendly to stress. And thus shift me from the victim of stress to the victor of the breath. Okay, so now I use the B word, breath. So what does breath have to do with it? Well, everything. Because we take 20,000 breaths per day. And every breath is, in a sense, a mini infusion of life. You know, when you put your hand under the nose of a person and you don't feel that little stream of air on your hand, you definitely want to start doing something such as maybe resuscitation, because that means there is no breath going on. And when there is no breath going on in us, that means that we are not alive. So in a sense, being alive is breathing. But there is breathing and there is breathing. In other words, there is struggling with breathing, gasping for air, and there is breathing with ease. Breathing as if you are being breathed by life without struggle. Being one with the breath. So that's the kind of breath I'm talking about, that I feel is the precursor to breath intelligence. So let me go back to Sheila for a moment. When I received Sheila's message this morning in which she basically said that she is in great despair and very overwhelmed by the challenges that it takes to live right now in Juba, South Sudan. And she also said that she forgot her handbag at a restaurant, and she forgot that she was supposed to chair a weekly meeting today. And that worries her. And to that I wrote to her, I hear you, Sheila. What you're describing sounds like PTSD. I can't say enough about making it a priority to be gentle with yourself. Watching for the unconscious negative voices of fear and despair and resignation, of being critical and hard on yourself. And I can't say enough about breathing love to them. So, I don't know, maybe you don't know what breathing love is, but that is the mantra of the Breaze of my work. And that's basically what I taught last year in Juba, South Sudan, is how to breathe love, particularly to your fear, to your terror, to your challenges. And Sheila was one of the best students of that, and she actually continued facilitating a group for the patients and the staff and practicing this principle of breathing love. But you see, in some way, breathing love is so counter impulse. Well, you know, we have a large part of our brain is what's called reptile brain. It's conditioned with fear and trauma to be in survival, to survive. And of course it has its incredible job to do, but it also produces tremendous amount of adrenaline and cortisol. And these hormones are hormones of fear and stress, and they keep us in this high state of vigilance, which eventually is exhausting. And now they're finding out scientifically that it's behind almost every illness, that factor, the fear factor. And the fear factor is something that we have something to do with. It's certainly under our control. Management. So, in a sense, breath intelligence is another way of managing our stress and fear and challenges. It is actually a way of partnering our lives, our care, with the breath. Not trying to do it all alone like a lone wolf, because the Hopi elders tell us that the time of the lone wolf is over. Trying to do it all alone and in isolation is a sure guarantee for anxiety and depression. So, breath intelligence is a way of turning to our breath as our best friend, as our partner, as our higher power, and asking the breath to assist us, and sometimes even turning over our challenges and struggles and limitations and fears and despair to the breath and surrendering it and trusting it. And in my experience, and I've been doing this actively for many years, particularly for the last 7 years, whenever I turn my stress over to the breath, something shifts, something happens like I couldn't have imagined it myself. It's almost like an alchemy. Fear turns to love. Stress turns to confidence. So I wrote to Sheila, no matter what's happening, breathe easy and have a heart. Against all the odds, have a heart for yourself. Have a heart for life. Have a heart for now. Honor yourself. You are innocent. You are worthy. You are free to be love. Now. I also wrote to her, I have a secret to share with you. You are in training, a blessed and sacred training. You are developing your breath intelligence, the highest intelligence on the planet today. No matter what's happening, breathe easy and have a heart. Against all the odds, have a heart for yourself. Breathe easy. Have a heart for now. You are innocent. You are worthy. You are free to be love now. It's a very powerful message, and you will empower and inspire others by simply exuding it, beaming it. That's what I'm doing. And I know that you're responding to it. Only to remember it yourself to the big breath of life. Your breath, intelligence. Oh, and by the way, Sheila, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday.